All right, everyone, we start off today talking about Tucker Carlson getting fired by Fox News and the importance, because it goes beyond just Tucker is gone, woe is us, because I haven't been a Tucker fan anyway. I say he's the one person on the network that sometimes tells the truth. Well, he was on the network, now he's gone. The one person that had a little bit of leeway, and I think it had to do with audience size more than anything else. Here's our main event, our main draw, by far the largest anchor on the network, and so he can get away with a little bit more. What I think Fox is doing by canning him is sending a message, in part, sending a message to the other journalists and anchors, well, journalists so-called at this point, and anchors there saying don't step out of line. I think it's meant to have a shock value, actually. When you let go of your top, literally, it's like you have a lineup. You have 50 people making content for a network or something like that. You have a TV channel or whatever. And one of them is way out ahead, the most goddamn popular. And absent any Me Too scandal or a criminal investigation or anything like that, all of a sudden you can them. That's not a good look. It's meant in part, I think, to confuse and shock people. And it also symbolizes something. Unlike Don Lemon's firing, which we're not even going to bother getting into much because he was on his way out due to ratings, the exact opposite of Tucker Carlson, by the way. The other thing that it symbolizes is that Fox News is now 100% corporate legacy globalist media. The last vestige of the old republic has been swept away at this point. Fox is irredeemable and should not be participated in by any individual. Nobody has a reason to watch their shitty network. As though they had a reason to watch anything other than Tucker anyway, only more than sporadically to begin with for some years. Fox News pioneered the modern news format. I mean modern as in on TV. Where before it was Tom Brokaw sitting there and being very dour and giving you like the straight news. It was still propaganda, but it was more boring, actually. Fox, when they designed their network, they said, no, that's not what people want to see. They want debates and they want primitive proto-blood sports, basically, and a lot of opinion and hype and stuff like that, and loud music and swinging lights and shit like that. They want a show. They want infotainment, basically. And so old-style TV news, a la the Atomic era or the 80s or even 90s for the most part, began to transform. Fox actually planted the seed that's going to destroy all of TV news anyway. All the other networks a few years later started taking up the same basic strategy. Even the website design is bootstrapped off of what they had originally. It was a more primitive, trust me, before that. Every one of the sites looked more like Drudge or something. Like Matt Drudge walked in to design the site for them. Tucker Carlson, in my opinion, should go rogue at this point. The likelihood is that he's already getting offers from every other network. Like Tim Pool has probably contacted his fucking press people at this point. That would be funny, by the way, if he ended up teaming up with Tim Pool. He should do his own thing, though. You got enough money and enough clout, make your own media company. Do what James O'Keefe did when he got shit canned. By the way, again, coincidental timing, all these people being let go of and all sorts of legal suits and shit culminating over the course of the same couple of months. Right as the primary battles begin to heat up. And of course they want to carefully curate the news that people hear and see. You've got legacy tech also involved in this at this time. More levels of disinfo policing, fact-checking, purging people, censoring them, all at the same time. It has nothing to do with the U.S. election upcoming. It has nothing to do with other world events like the war in Ukraine happening right now. Anyway, also I'm taking a whim, because for years I've warned people. Fox is the same as every other network, and the amount of actual leeway that Tucker had, and that was really the aside. People would say, no, Fox News isn't the same as CNN. They've got Tucker. Well, yes, he's gone, number one, so you don't get to use that line anymore to cope and defend Fox, to cover for their ass as though they needed it. That's number one. Number two, this shows, if pushed, if he actually does decide to report on something that Fox centrally doesn't like, he too, no matter how big he is, can get shit canned. I mean, dude, they indicted the President of the United States on felony charges, trumped up felony charges, of course, wink wink, haha, dad humor, getting rid of 250 years of civic precedent. Do you think that Tucker Carlson is really too big for a globalistic corporation that he works for to decide to fire him because they don't like his views anymore? They want to be the uniparty network for the FUDs. They want to try to retransform what is a MAGA-led GOP at this point back into Bushism. That's what Fox wants because it's lucrative. Globalists love it. War is great TV. Makes them money. War is good to them. Suffering is good to them. Pandemics are good to them. All of these terrible things make for much, much greater news. The problem is, in a globalized world, well, not problem for them, but problem for us, really propagandistically speaking. In a globalized world, something terrible can happen on the other side of the world, and it's still primo news, and people will get their hit of dopamine by thinking, oh my goodness, oh, how terrible. A flood in Pakistan, oh God. Big earthquake in Russia, oh Jesus. Famine in Africa. Now, before it was more distant. Now, of course, it seems like it's right next door because you're doing the online participation thing. Fox is, once again, taking a four and making money off human misery. I have a turn off Fox sticker, I think, still in my office window back in Rutland. And it's fucking staying there, although that might have been one of the windows that got repaired while I was absent. I'm not 100% sure. Shit, I hope that the sticker got saved either way. That's like 2006 vintage or some shit like that. Carlson leaving officially makes Fox News identical to the other cable networks. There is no longer any debate to be had. In the end, I was correct for years and years explaining this to people. They claimed that Tucker being there made him different. He's no longer there. And again, I do believe that part of the reason that they decided to fire him and then fib about negotiating with him and just, we wanted to have a discussion, basically he just wanted to leave. It appears that's been countermanded by Carlson and some of his insiders. There are spooky shenanigans going on over at the boardroom in Fox, but part of this is simply for one reason. Shock everyone else into compliance within the network because they've gotten the marching order from Murdoch and from Soros and all the others that fund them. And Soros is involved with a lot of the same companies that invest in Fox, that invest in CNN too. There's an interplay within globalism. I try to explain that to people too. They don't believe me. They got the marching order from the bigwigs. Shut it down. Stop talking about subjects that we've asked you not to talk about. We're dropping the hammer at this point. We're no longer asking. Get rid of Tuckercarlson. Murdoch apparently directly involved in the decision. I am not the least bit surprised. So tune out Fox. Stop relying on them. Start archiving their links. Do not go directly to them and give them ad revenue or even site clicks. Use archive.today and retaliate against these fuckers. And as far as cable, I mean, and for the 10 of you that still watch cable news, don't. Go leave them a dislike on some of their content if you have to interact with it at all. That's about all. Peace out.